We're now in Chapter 6, where we're going to start learning about minor keys and key signatures. In the previous chapter, we were primarily working with major keys on the circle of fifths, keys, signatures, writing scales, so on and so forth. Now we're going to start learning about minor keys and key signatures. You'll notice when we do our demonstrations in class that the minor key signature has a much darker sound than the major. It'll be very obvious when I play two different types of music, one in a major key and one in a minor key, that minor key signature is often associated with a dark sound, or horror movies or scary things like that. In Halloween, you hear a lot of things played in minor keys. A lot of church music and stuff like that. Sacred music is going to be played in a lot of major keys, but some other songs like "O Come, Come Emmanuel," which have that dark sound, are in the minor keys. Here I have the whole and half step patterns for the major key signature. Okay, if you look down here, you're going to see that I have a pattern for the minor key signature. Okay, so up here where I have my whole, half, whole, half, it's going to differ a little bit when I do the minor pattern. Whole, half, whole, half, whole. Okay? There are three different types of minor keys. There is the natural minor, the harmonic minor, and the melodic minor. This pattern that I have written up here is actually the natural minor. Okay? I'll write that up here so you can see that. Natural minor, okay? And that'll become apparent why it's called that as we go through. One thing I want to point out that is of absolute necessity is that you remember when we write letters for our key signatures, major keys are capitalized, minor keys are lowercase. Okay, so if we were going to do a B-flat major key signature, we would do capital B. However, if we were going to do a minor key signature, we would write B flat minor with a lowercase b. Okay, make sure you're paying attention to that. Super important. Failure to do so, of course, will result in points lost. Okay, so just remember, major capitalized, minor lowercase. Okay. Now, if I'm going to draw two scales. One, they're going to start on the same starting note, but I'm going to do one in major, one in natural minor, okay? So let's say, for instance, C major, okay? So if I draw my 8 notes from C to C, then, from C to D, there's whole, half, whole, half. C to C has no sharps, no flats, right? Because the pattern works out perfectly, so we hit all white keys, right? So I'm just going to draw that in. Whole, half, whole, half. Okay? That's the way it works. Now I'm going to come down in bass clef. Bass clef doesn't really have an effect to make it different, but just so that you can see. I'm going to draw the same scale, but I am going to do it in the natural minor, okay? So here I am all the way up to C. Let me draw in this new pattern that I'm going to learn, which is whole, half, whole, half, whole. Okay? If you have a keyboard that you can reference at this point, that would be great. If you had your binder or if you have a keyboard at home, you could take a look at it. That would be super helpful right now. If not, I'm going to walk you through it. Okay? From C to D, whole step above C is D. Okay? Now, a half step above D is E flat. Okay? So we're going to mark a flat in here. Okay? Now, a whole step above E flat is F, so that's fine. Whole step above F is G, that's fine. Now here we go, a half step above G is A flat, okay? Because you're going from the white key to the black key. From a whole step above A flat is B flat, okay? So that B is going to be flat, and then a whole step above B flat is C. Now, we know we did it right if we went from C to C and we ended up on C after we did this last whole step, okay? So we did. Whole step above B flat is C, so we know we did this right. So if we look at some differences here on our scale, you should notice right away, and let me pick an easy color to see, that our E's are different. Okay, E is flat. The A is flat, and the B is flat, okay? Those are three notes that are different between the major scale and the minor scale. And when we play those on our keyboards, you're going to notice an obvious difference in sound. One thing I want you to pay attention to is how a major key starting on one key note is different from the minor key that starts on the same key note. Okay, which basically means major key starting on C, minor key starting on C, and then the differences that go up. And if you compare the major to the natural minor, you're going to notice that that third note, the sixth note, and the seventh note are different, but the other ones remain the same. Okay? I do also want to quickly discuss what we call relative minors. Okay? Let me draw a clean slate here. Here we go. If I said draw the key signature of F major, well, 5 big elephants are dragging garbage cans. We know that that's 1 flat, which is B flat. Okay? Now, the key of F minor does not have the same key signature. However, F major does have the same key signature as another minor key signature. The easiest way to figure that out is to go down, I'm going to write that over here, go down 3 half steps from the major. And I'm just going to write a capital M here. So that's 3 half steps. Okay, not 3.5, but 3 half steps from the major. So if my major key is F and I go down 3 half steps, that puts us on a D. Okay, so F major has the same key signature as D minor. Okay, let's do another one, just so this becomes clear. Let's do C major. No, let's do C sharp major. There we go. Which is F, C, G, D, A, E, B. C sharp major has the same key signature as what minor? Well, you start on C sharp on your keyboard and you go down 3 half steps, which is actually A sharp minor. Notice that I'm doing my minors in lowercase. Okay? Let's do the opposite. The key signature of E flat minor is what? It's actually the same key signature as G flat major, which is 6 flats. B, E, A, D, G, C, and F. Now, if I want to figure out what the major is, I'm going to go up from E flat minor 3 half steps. 3 half steps above E flat is G flat major. Okay? How could you also double check that? Well, think about it. 5 big elephants are dragging garbage cans. Oh, I drew one too many. 5 big elephants are dragging garbage. So that works out just like that. Let me, see if I can't erase. No, it's not going to let me erase. That's okay. We'll scratch it out. And that's what we do. So, what I want you to remember most is the difference between major and minor. Okay, capitalized, lowercase. Okay, natural minor, this is the pattern we're going to start out with. We're going to learn the other two minor keys later. If they give you the major key, you can figure out what the minor key is by going down 3 half steps. If they give you the minor key and you want to figure out the major, you're going to go up 3 half steps instead of down, because it's the opposite process. There's always one major and minor key signature that have the exact same key signature. Alright, so they come in pairs. And as we get to the end of the chapter, you're going to notice what they are, okay? So, if you need to review any of this, go ahead and do so. If not, we will cover a little bit more of this in class. Cheerio!